My name is Vikas Kapil. You guys may have seen me on that video earlier that I put in the Facebook group or on the email list if you guys are from there. I'd been dealing with back pain for the past 7 plus, almost 8 years, and was told that I would never be the same again, dealing with consistent pain. And being told to take different medications, being told to go to different doctors, is being told the same old repeat story that seemed to never change. Is that saying, you will be dealing with this pain for a lifetime. You will have to learn how to cope with it. There's nothing we can do. There's maybe surgery you can consider, but the risks are too high, so we don't recommend it. It's just the same old garbage again and again. Now, how many of you have actually heard that story before? Just let me know. I want to make sure you guys are also in the same boat as me. Okay, perfect. Right. So same boat. Yeah, ICUM as well, right? It's the same repeat thing, and we're looking for that one big fix, right? Well, there's no one big fix, but there is a train of things that you can do to really fix your sciatica, to fix your back, to avoid all the medications. And we'll definitely dive a lot more into this. Now, I'm going to introduce Dean Volk. Now, he's been specializing in sciatica for the last 15 plus years. And has actually been a physiotherapist for the past 30 years with multiple clinics that he's run. So what we're going to do today is we're going to have Dean come on, walk you through some of the key things on how to beat sciatica with just a few different exercises that physiotherapists and doctors don't want you to go through. And then I'm going to share later on in this call as well some of the secrets I found to actually skip the physiotherapist, the doctor, because I was spending around $138 a session to go to a physiotherapist. And I'm going to show you how you can really just avoid those huge costs that seem to incur and then those same injuries that keep reoccurring. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Dean Volk, and he's going to walk you through the rest and hopefully find a way for you guys to become pain-free. So Dean, whenever you're ready, hop on in.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Vikas. And welcome everybody to the Sciatica Masterclass. My name is Dean. As Vikas said, I've been a physical therapist for over 32 years, and really the last 16 years I've been focusing on helping people overcome their sciatica. And once I sold my clinics back in 2020, my little side gig, which was my Facebook group, turned into a full-time job, and I had no idea it was going to blow up like it is now. And I'm just grateful to be here, grateful to be able to help and give you guys the tools that you need in order to defeat sciatica. And my life's goal is I want to be able to help 100,000 sciatica sufferers overcome sciatica and live life pain-free before I retire. So please help me out. I'm only 57 years old, so I've got a little bit to go before I retire and a lot more people to help. So what I want to do today is we're going to cover several things. Number one, we are going to cover what is sciatica. And I think I saw somebody write, hey, my problem is not in my back, it's all in my leg. The sciatic nerve is injured or irritated. And so many times that is true for most people. Most sciatica clients don't really have back pain or back problems, or so they think, but the problem may actually be coming from their back without any pain there. So we're going to be covering what is sciatica, what is typical, or what is a typical sciatica sufferer's journey, and you guys hopefully will be able to relate to what I go through. Why are you not getting the relief you deserve and need? And then I'm going to be talking about a new approach to seeing sciatica in a different way that actually fixes the problem, brings healing, and brings the relief that you deserve. Then we're going to go over a simple activity or a movement or two to show you how easy it is to start winning this battle today. And then we're going to hear a little bit more from Vikas and his journey, and then he's going to let you know what we have available for you today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to share my screen right now, and hopefully what you are seeing is a picture that Carrie Johnston wrote to me a while back in our Facebook group. So let me get this where I want to get it. So I'm assuming you are only seeing this screen. So Carrie Johnston wrote this. She's a Canadian former client of mine and someone who's doing extremely well. She said, sciatica is an odd thing. I did the same thing before this group and Dean, but so many people do the things that have not helped them in the past, but they do them again and again anyway. How many of you can relate to that? stretching the bad side, taking painkillers, grinding a tennis ball into the painful side, going to chiropractors every week for years, going to the emergency room, getting injections that do nothing or offer only temporary relief, get acupuncture, go to surgery after surgery, etc., etc. Maybe there's no one solution for everyone, but the one thing that finally ended the cycle of never-ending pain for me was finding this group and following Dean's advice. I'm back to running 10Ks. I'm sitting all day with no pain, etc. She's basically living a normal life. I have a neighbor friend who's been suffering from terrible sciatica for years, and he knows that I've been fully recovered and pain-free for more than 3 years, and not once has he ever taken me up on my offer to explain what worked for me. So I'm going to congratulate every single one of you people who are here, that you are further along than Carrie's neighbor already, because you are wanting to learn what she did and what I do to help people recover, because you know the definition of insanity that Einstein said. You do the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results, and it never changes. So the question is, what is sciatica? And as you can see from these two pictures, here's the blown up one, the sciatic nerve, which is about as wide and around as a penny. So it is actually the thickest and longest nerve in your body. You've got your L4, L5, S1, S2, and S3 nerve roots that come out of the spine, and they join together to form this sciatic nerve right here, that nice thick yellow nerve that you can see its relationship to the piriformis muscle. And on the right-hand side, it's the same thing, whoops, on top. But you can see that it goes down behind the knee where there's two nerves. It splits into the common fibular nerve that goes around to the front lateral part of the shin, and the tibial nerve, which goes all the way down. And those two nerves travel all the way down to the bottom of your feet into your toes. So that's why sciatica can take place anywhere between your low back and your toes, or it can be in multiple places along there. It can just be in one place along there. And I don't have to tell you what it feels like, because your sciatic nerve pain can feel like anything you can actually imagine what nerve pain can be. It can be sharp, it can be dull, it can feel like electrical shocks, it can feel tingly, it can feel numb, it can make your leg feel heavy, feel weak. Anything that you can possibly imagine when your sciatic nerve is being compromised, whether it's being pinched by a ligament, a bone, a muscle, a disc, whether it's being pinched by a bone spur, the SI joint, or being inflamed close by your hip bursitis or your hip bursa. But what we need to remember is sciatica is really not a diagnosis. Sciatica is a symptom of a problem. Yes, your sciatic nerve is being pinched, but what is causing the pinch? What is that underlying thing that's causing it? And many of you have probably been diagnosed with a number of things, whether it be stenosis, spondylolisthesis, simple nerve irritation, so many different things that your nerve can be aggravated by. It can be a herniation, it can be hip bursitis, it can be a piriformis syndrome, SI joint dysfunction, spondylolisthesis, as I've already mentioned. So just remember that sciatica is a symptom of an underlying problem that's causing the pinching of it. All right? So let's talk about a typical journey of a sciatica client. And many of you will probably be able to relate to this. If you are taking the typical Western medicine route, this is what most people experience. First of all, they're going to Google or YouTube before they get to their doctor, just simply because that's how we are nowadays. And they'll try to fix it on their own. Then they'll get to their doctor or their PCP, who will maybe order x-rays, but definitely give you, some medications. And oftentimes they'll give you an exercise handout of generic exercises that we'll talk about shortly. Then if it doesn't work, they'll change up the medications, send you to some physical therapy. And if that doesn't work, they will send you for an MRI. And then you get the referral to the orthopedic surgeon or the neurosurgeon or neurologist. How many of you can relate to this so far? Because then what happens is they try to figure out, is it your back? Is it your piriformis muscle? Is it a hip? Is it your SI joint? And you possibly can get conflicting information depending who you listen to. And it's back and forth between specialists who try to figure out, okay, what is the issue? Then you change medications, maybe you get some injections along the way, and then they send you back possibly to the PT who was doing things that didn't help you initially, but they send you back for more of the same. How many of you can relate to this? Then you also got to throw in, you got to try the chiropractor, you got to do some massage, maybe some yoga, Pilates, acupuncture, some cupping, some myofascial release, maybe some Egoscue. You try the miracle creams, the TENS unit, the foam rollers. You're doing everything you possibly can to get out of pain. And for the most part, everyone is focused on the painful area, which is usually in your butt or a little bit below as the main area. Not 100% of the time, but most of the time, that is the case. They don't look at other parts of your body to try to get you relief or solutions for it. And all these treatments typically leave you feeling depressed, overwhelmed, confused. You're feeling fed up, not listened to. You're frustrated. You're feeling worn out mentally, physically, emotionally. You're angry. You're feeling helpless, and you're feeling hopeless. How many of you can relate to something along these lines or in the general movement pattern of this typical journey, going from one doctor to another, not really being listened to, being told it's just your age, or you need to lose some weight, or just strengthen up your core, or you know what? Your MRI really doesn't show much. So what do? What happens there? And let me tell you, if you are at the MRI stage, please don't expect a miracle from an MRI, because I've had so many people have MRIs that look fine, even though they have pain. Other people hardly have any pain and they look horrendous. And there are normal things that take place in the spine as you age. So please, please, please don't be dependent on the MRI, because also if you are laying down in an MRI where most people do, and that is not their painful position, yet they're using that MRI to tell you where your pain's coming from, how does that line up? I can go on all day about MRIs, but I will spare you the lecture, because what we're going to do now is we're going to talk a little bit about what, why are you not getting the relief you deserve when you've gone through all these hoops, jumped through all these hoops, went to the physical therapy or chiropractor because you couldn't get an MRI until you had all this stuff done to you beforehand. It's frustrating. You're worn out. It not only is it mentally exhausting, it's emotionally exhausting as well. And you're not still getting the relief you deserve. Here's what I want to tell you. You're not getting the relief you deserve because the treatment that's been prescribed is not right for you. It's focused on getting you temporary relief. Taking a pain pill, taking a gabapentin, taking a muscle relaxer, taking a anti-inflammatory is not going to heal the underlying problem, though it may mask the symptoms so you can function. And look, I'm not against anybody getting anything that they can to calm down their symptoms so they can function, because, hey, we all need to live. I get it. But we're all looking, we all want the quick fix. We all want, hey, just give me the shot, give me the meds, and hopefully it'll work. But what's going on in your body that's not working? And we're going to get to that soon. I'm going to try to share my screen again. And what we are going to do is move right along. Whoops, not that. Share screening has stopped. All right, I knew I was going to mess this up, but please bear with me for one moment. I'm going to get this started again. We're going to get here, here, share the screen.
So while you pull it up, Dean, I guess I could tell them a little bit more about sort of being in the loop, right, consistently. So
Perfect.
One of the hardest things I had to deal with consistently with physiotherapists and doctors was being passed from doctor to doctor. They would always tell me, you'll be fine, you'll be okay. we just need to take this medication. You'll be fine. You'll be okay. Just do these foam roller stretch. Now, maybe you've heard of the cat dog stretch, or, the simplicity of just like, oh, sciatic nerve threading and all that stuff. It never worked really well for me at all. And it actually debilitated me to a point where I couldn't even move, right? And it's been really bad. It really amped up in the last few years to the point where I had to quit everything I was doing. I was no longer working because the pain was so bad. And sometimes all it took was a different stretch, but the physiotherapist, it was interesting. I'd get okay relief, but then I'd have to go back for another sprint. And I did the math. What ended up happening is I was spending about 1,500 to 2K a month consistently in bursts, right? So that would be bursts of 2 to 3 months. So it ended up being about $6,000 every single burst times two. So what? About $12,000 spent every single few months just to feel temporary relief. And I still had no idea what was going on. So I think it's really cool and really important that we understand why this is happening, because the way businesses work, like physiotherapists, unfortunately, is they want to keep you in that loop. They don't want you to find out how to fix yourself, because otherwise, what's the use of them? They're useless then, right? So what we want to do here is make sure you fully understand step by step how to make sure you understand how to remove your pain for good, and also find a way so you don't have to go back to the physiotherapist. Imagine what it would feel like if you had the ability to know that, okay, I'm having a sciatic nerve issue right now. It's flaring up. I'm having pain. But imagine knowing you had the key to fix every single time. Would you feel less anxious? Would you feel more confident? Would you maybe be, maybe even a little bit less depressed? Who knows, right? I know for me, it changed my life absolutely, which I'll dive more into. But I'll let Dean take over here and sort of walk you through some really good stretches that could help you as well.
All right, so what I'm going to show you here are sort of the generic exercises. Basically, if you go onto Google and type in sciatica generic exercises, I'm assuming that many of you have seen these exercises, been handed out these exercises, been told these are the exercises that are going to make you feel great. And I think Vikas mentioned the cat-cow. The lumbar rotation, the piriformis stretch. You got to do the bridging because you got to get your core strength stronger. And you know what's crazy is every study that they've done on core strength has nothing to do either directly or indirectly with your pain. Now, I'm not against core strength at all, because I believe if you are walking around and your core is weak, you're more susceptible to a problem. But just because you have a strong core doesn't mean that you are not going to have a problem. And I am going to explain the new approach that I took, started about 15, 16 years ago, that has helped so many of my clients. And here's the famous nerve flossing or gliding. Or were you one of the fortunate ones who, when you went to the doctor, they had these exercise sheets pre-printed out, waiting for you, knowing that no matter what your underlying problem, these are the exercises that you are supposed to do to get the relief that they think you will get by doing these exercises. And how many of you have seen these exercises and have gone, been there, done that, doesn't work? If you can just write that in the chat, just so I can see if I'm on target here with the exercises and the generic exercises and what people say work and what sadly typically does not work for people. So those are the generic exercises that most people get. And you know what's sad? You can get them for free on YouTube, or you can get them on Google in just a search. And yet you're paying good money to have somebody tell you or give you a handout without telling you exactly how to do these the correct way. All right? Gretchen, that's awesome that your physical therapist did not recommend any of those, because that is what 99% of us learn in PT school. So the reason you're not getting better is, number one, most chiropractors, doctors, PTs, massage therapists don't focus on what they need to be focusing on. And then you get the radio frequency ablations, the injections, the medications, and you start messing with the chemistry in your body, the side effects. I've even had people who have had surgery and had temporary relief, or had multiple surgeries, and we have been able to help because of the approach that you will learn shortly. Does all this sound familiar? And the other thing that I've noticed about most of my sciatica clients is they're typically not on their first episode. Usually, 80% of the time, if you are on your first episode of sciatica pain, it will go away as fast as it came, somewhere in the 4 to 6 week range. If it doesn't, then you definitely need to get help. But what I have noticed is people tell me, I did have a little bit of a back pain in my 20s and early 30s. And then, it would come back here and there and it would sort of grow. And what I've noticed is each episode would either be longer in intensity or more intense either longer in its duration or more intense in its intensity. 7 months on your first episode, definitely need to get the right treatment approach. I think it was Gretchen who I saw pull that up. But anyway, the reason things are not calming down is very simple. And I'm going to talk to you now about the new way to look at your sciatica that hopefully will flip some switches in your brain like it did mine when I first started to learn about what the body does when it has pain. Number one, what happens when your body has pain? It naturally compensates for itself. Let me show you something. If I had a badly sprained ankle, I would be walking around like this, correct? You've seen people walk like that. Why are their head, neck, and shoulders moving in such a herky-jerky fashion, even though there are problems down at their ankle? Let me explain why. Your body is genius. It's meant to heal itself. That's how it was created, to be able to heal and take care of itself. So this is what your body does. The ankle muscles around the ankle and the lower leg tighten up to try to help avoid any further damage of that ankle. That means those muscles are now out of commission for what they normally do. Plus, you're having pain every time you step down, so you're hopping to the other side. So what your body does, it compensates for that pain, and your body moves in such a way, it's going to be hard to believe, but it's trying to function as best as possible with as minimal pain as possible. But you've got this pulling over here, this pulling over here. Your body is out of its normal balance, right side versus left side, which adds physical tension and stress through your body. And guess what part of your body takes up all that extra physical tension and stress? The area that is protecting. So it's not able to release, relax, and allow healing to take place. So if you've got pain in your butt, your low back, anywhere down your leg, guess what? Even though you may not be walking as badly as somebody who has a sprained ankle, your body is still compensating the same way, okay? So what I have learned is if we calm down those imbalances in your body, all that extra tension and stress, guess what happens to the area that's doing this? Trying to protect the area of the problem. It can relax, okay? And when it starts relaxing, you get better blood flow, you get better nerve conduction, your body can actually start healing, all right? And that's what we want. Let me give you another example of what's going on in your body to help you think about sciatica a different way. If I had a gaping wound on my arm, would it be wise for me to dig on it, to stretch it out, to pull on it, massage it to try to calm down the muscle spasms in the area and get those knots out? Or would I want to leave it alone and allow it to heal? I'm assuming you're thinking, yes, you want it to heal. So now my question to you is, what if you started thinking of your sciatica as a wound, wherever the pain that you feel is coming from? What if you left it alone, didn't aggravate it, didn't dig on it, didn't do the things that you were told to do, which have not worked yet, because if they did, you wouldn't be here watching. All right? So instead of stretching, digging on, poking on, prodding on that area that's painful, irritated, and sore, why not leave it alone? Find other parts of your body that you can be working on. All right? Remember I told you about all the imbalances that happen because of the compensations? What if you started working on balancing out those imbalances to take the tension away so that you give your body, or you put your body in an optimal position to heal? Okay? Think of this one more way. If I had a sore spot right here and I went to my doctor and told my doctor, yo, right here is killing me. What can I take? I mean, I would want the pill to calm it down like everybody else would. But the doctor goes, Dean, I've got a new treatment technique. I want you to pound your head 25 times right on that sore side, 5 times a day. Come back in 2 weeks and tell me how you feel. Most of you, if you had any sense of care for me, would look and go, are you out of your mind? And what's strange is you pound it 25 times, and when you stop, guess what? It actually feels a little bit better until the compounding of that pounding adds up, and then it just explodes 10 minutes later, 30 minutes later, and it's worse than it was. So what is the difference between me doing this to something sore than you stretching on, digging on, massaging, pulling, trying to strengthen the muscles that are aggravated, that are causing your sciatica? There really is no difference. You're not allowing the area to heal. Remember, if you think of it as a wound, you're not going to dig on it, stretch it, poke on it, prod on it. You're not going to pound your head if it's sore. You might hit your finger with a hammer because that'll take the pain away from your head, but put it in your finger. But that doesn't heal anything overall. I hope this makes sense. So I want to introduce you to what I've been doing for the past 15 years and have about a 95 to 97% success rate with my clients who have dealt with sciatica anywhere from 6 weeks up to 63 years. All right, 63 years. And after 2 weeks of being on my program, this guy, I'm so sorry, I can't remember his name. He gave me a testimonial, and he basically said that he was walking around his neighborhood for the first time in decades, pain-free, and he couldn't believe it. 63 years. He was 84 years old. He had been dealing with sciatica and back pain since he was in his early 20s. He said it's been about 63 years. I actually have him on video telling me the story. I was blown away. And look, guys, in 2 weeks, I wish I could tell you that I can do everything for you that I did for him. It happens, but it's usually a little bit longer of a process. But what I have found is typically we can get people 50% improved in the first 3 to 5 weeks. And at the end of my programs that I offer that are 8 weeks long, we can actually get people 80 to 90%, and they're well on their way to making their lives normal again. So the 3-step approach that I use for every one of my clients. Number one, we first want to balance out the imbalances in your body. Remember, we talked about the compensations and the pulling and the stress. All that extra muscular physical tension and stress is keeping you from healing. And most of the time, it's not addressed in physical therapy or chiropractor or massage, simply because they're either going to have you only work your painful side, which we just learned is not a good idea, digging on those things that are painful and irritated, working both sides evenly because we have to keep everything even. The problem with that is if we're out of balance to start with, working both sides is not going to bring anything together. It's either going to maintain the imbalances or oftentimes actually increase the imbalances. So number one, what I do is I empower you and teach you how to find your imbalances and fix them. And once you start getting more and more balance, your symptoms automatically decline because your body's not having to fight against itself. Your brain is not so intense because I know what happens and you know what happens when you have pain. Your central nervous system starts to tense up. You get that fight or flight pattern. You feel the stress and the anxiety. You think, if I just cut my leg off, I will be fine. I've heard it all before. Guess what, guys? There's phantom limb pain that if you cut that leg off, you're still going to have pain. But if you balance out your body, guess what's going to happen? Your central nervous system is going to calm down. That stress and anxiety are going to calm down. We teach you different things to calm down that central nervous system. And when we get your body balanced and your symptoms calm down significantly, then we move to phase two. Phase two is the core strengthening and stabilization of your body. Because what happens is when you're out of balance, your muscles don't function normally. When you get back into balance, guess what? Now your muscles are put in their optimal position, and we want to stabilize you and hold you in a stable position. I got a story about the most incredible woman in the world who I happen to marry. She had a sciatica episode about 2 months after I started my first Facebook group I started in March of 2018. She woke up one morning in May saying it hurts from my butt to my heel. I thought she was kidding with me. So I didn't think anything of it until she stood up and started walking like a 90-year-old woman. And I wanted to help her so bad. And she just said, don't touch me. Don't do anything. I am going to get rid of this. Mid-afternoon comes around. She goes, okay, help me out. So within 2 weeks, guess what? She was walking 2 to 3 miles of her normal 5 to 7 miles. I told her, let's start slow and steady. We balanced her out. She was fine for a while until it was time to move. And she was bending over in the kitchen, lifting a box. And I heard oh, guess what? We started the exercises to balance her out. She felt great after a couple weeks. Third episode, she was bending over, cutting a toenail. I heard a scream, the familiar scream. I said, hey, this time you are going to, I'm sorry, the second time I said, you are going to go through my program. So guess what? She got partway through the program. All her pain went away. She was doing great with just the balancing exercises, didn't progress into the stability exercises. So guess what happened the third time this happened to her? I said, all right, we got you out of pain by doing the balancing exercises. Now it's time to progress after the pain calms down into the stability exercises. And guess what? How many times she has flared up since she actually went through the whole program and stabilized herself. I actually catch her doing some stability exercises now because she knows what the pain is like. And she knows if she keeps her body balanced and stable, she's not going to flare up again. So my wife, Trudy, is a great example. She goes, Dean, just use me as an example. And at first I thought, wait a second, I'm a sciatica relief expert and you had sciatica 3 times. She goes, that's because I didn't listen to you. So step 2, critical and important, stability once we get you balanced because we want to hold you in that stable position. Third step is once we get your stability back and your pain has been calmed because you've been balanced and now you're stable in that balanced position, we get you back to doing normal things slowly and steadily, making sure that we don't aggravate things. I had worked with a professional rower from either Australia or New Zealand, and she started back rowing slowly. She did not get into her manic, big pulls, big digs, big oar movements because she knew the pain that she felt, but she started going back slowly. And when she realized she had decent endurance and then her pain started coming back, we started working on more stability and then really hard paddling for very short times and building that up. So it is possible to get back to professional rowing even when doctors say there's no way you're ever going to do this. I have helped people who have been told that unless you have surgery, you will never walk or drive again. And guess what they're doing now? Never having had surgery. So I know the power of balancing out the body, getting things stable, and then slowly and steadily getting back into your normal routine. So what I want to do now is just show you one simple movement that anybody and everybody can do. And what I'm going to do is, if you're sitting down, fine. If you're standing up, fine. If you're laying down, fine. Okay? Teresa, I'm going to tell you what to do. This is just one simple little thing that you can do so that you can demonstrate for yourself how easy it is to balance out your body. I want everybody who's sitting or standing to cross your arms. If you're laying down on your back, I want you to bend your knees so that your feet are flat on the bed, the carpet, wherever you are, the couch, so that your knees are bent up and your feet are flat. For those of you sitting and standing, I just want you to twist from the waist on up as far as you can to the right side, and then twist to the left side as far as you can without pain, okay? And I want you to tell me which side felt looser, more comfortable, less restricted. Which way, if I told you you have to do this for 2 hours, one direction, which way would you go? Does everybody feel a difference? And you can write it down in the chat. For you people laying down on your back, I want you to drop your knees to the right side, drop your knees to the left side, and feel if there is a difference, right side to left side. Most people will definitely feel a difference. Thank you, Matt, for writing that. Not so loose on my sciatica side. Thank you, Gretchen. I feel it. Good. Because everybody who is feeling an imbalance, here's what I want you to do. I want you nice and slowly to twist to the side of your body that felt looser, more comfortable, less restricted, or what I like to call the LML side. Okay? So nice and slowly, 10 times. All right, Robin, I've got something different for you. You're going to go 10 times to the looser, more comfortable, less restricted side. Okay? Then you're going to take a break and you're going to do it again. You laying down, I want you to tip your knees to the side, nice and slowly, 10 times. All right, for those of you who say they feel the same, that's awesome. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to go the extreme end range. If you're on a chair, grab a chair. If you're standing, grab a wall. Force yourself as far as you can to the twist to that side compared to the other side. And inevitably, you are going to feel one side is more restricted or a little bit painful or a little tight or something going on that doesn't feel perfectly balanced. Okay? All right, Jill James, thank you. All right, so after you've done 2 sets of 10 to the side that was looser, more comfortable, less restricted, I want you to go back and test the opposite side, okay? Test the opposite side and see, was the side that was more restricted now feeling a little bit more balanced? Maybe it's a little looser, maybe you're not having the pain, maybe you're able to turn a little bit farther with less tension. Does anybody here feel like their more restricted side that they did not exercise feels improved compared to what it was? And don't keep doing it. I just want 1 or 2 tests just to feel, did it improve or not? Vikas says, yes, it did. All right, Robin, when you're done, let's see what happens to your left side. Are you able to turn a little bit farther? Is there a little bit less pain? Does it feel less restricted? Guys, don't be shy. And if it did, it didn't. This doesn't work for everybody every time. Slightly less restricted, Matt. Perfect. That's what I like to hear. Because here's what's happening. Felt about the same. It didn't. All right, for you, Sandy, and you, Teresa and Jill, all of you who didn't feel much of a change, this time what I want you to do, go to the side that was your LML side and do it 2 more sets of 10 as long as there's no pain, okay? So do set 3 and set 4 to the easier side, okay? And even if it feels more restricted or more painful afterwards, this is showing you that by working one side of the body, you can have a huge effect on the opposite side. And like I said, obviously this isn't going to work for everybody every single time because some people can't feel the difference. Some people seems it's worse because they're twisting, and oftentimes a twisting movement can aggravate pain. But most of the time, people are going to feel a difference. And oftentimes they're going to feel like, hey, it's a little bit more balanced than it was. Okay. This is just a demonstration. Who was it? Teresa, who said, just tell us what to do. Teresa, this is just a demonstration to show you that, hey, working the good side of the body has a profound effect on the opposite side of the body. It can be a positive effect, a negative effect. And that's where the coaching and what we do comes in to be able to fine tune, to find for you where your biggest imbalances in your body are, what you need to work on. Okay. Could you demonstrate one more time? I was doing other things for both sides. All right, Robin, all you're doing is either twisting to your right side and then twisting to your left side. And you're going to determine which one feels looser, more comfortable, less restricted. That's the side you're going to exercise to. And here's why this is such a powerful thing. If you're doing things that are comfortable and easy for your body, guess what happens? Your body relaxes, tension eases, and when you go back to reassess the opposite side, more times than not, the other side is actually going to be more relaxed so that you'll be able to either go farther or go the same with less pain or have a definite change in that side. Okay. And if this does not give you the results that you think it should have, there are so many other things we can do that we don't have time to go over in this, because this is a masterclass of trying to learn a new way to take care of things. I wish I can give you everything that's in an 8-week class in an hour, but that is obviously impossible. But hopefully what I said and how I explained how you don't want to be picking at the wound and digging on the wound, how you want to see your sciatica as a wound and you want it to heal. So you don't want to stretch it. You don't want to dig on it. You don't want to do the things that you've been doing up until now that have not been working, because as Carrie said at the beginning, why do you keep doing things over and over again that have not had a positive effect on you? It's sort of the definition of insanity. So my big hope, my big goal is, what I do is I want to give you guys the power to understand how to balance out the imbalances so you don't need me. As a physical therapist, I always loved it when you came back so that I can help you. I can help you. But you know what? That's a messed up system. Why do you need me when I can teach you or give you online course that we work through as we coach you, and you get to keep that course so that you can always go back just in case you need a refresher on what you need to do. And guess what? I don't tell very many people this, but balancing out your body works if you have any type of musculoskeletal problem that doesn't require a surgical fix. Now I'm talking like a torn tendon, a torn muscle, a broken bone, a joint that is dislocated. You can use these exercises to balance out the imbalances in your body, which will calm your system down so that your body's in a position to heal. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to invite Mr. Vikas to come on back. I'm going to turn it over to him so he can more fully tell you his story and tell you what we have to offer you tonight. I hope this makes sense, guys. Thank you for letting me share. I love talking about this because this is my passion. So I'm going to turn my mic and my
Thank you, Dean.
off
Appreciate that. So
so
for you
that
guys,
you can
like
take over.
hopefully that was helpful. I put in the chat, yes, if that was helpful for you guys, sort of getting a deeper understanding of how to deal with your sciatica, how to really manage it, and understanding that it's not some mountain to climb. It's not something crazy that you have to conquer, but that in fact it's just small tweaks that you need to change. Oftentimes, I find it funny the medical system makes a mountain out of a molehill, right? When realistically, it's not that hard to deal with it. Now, a little bit more on what I was doing to cure my back pain. Now, I'll make my long story very short. I was in a really, really bad car accident where they pretty much said that my back, I had sciatica, I had all these different issues, I would never be the same again. But I actually had worked with Dean for only, it was funny, only about four to 5 weeks with him. Sat down with him, gotten a few calls with him because I wanted to get over this. I didn't want to take any more medications. I didn't want to see any more doctors, physiotherapists, spine specialists. I didn't want to go through the MRI machine again or get another CT scan because those things are, I'll be quite frank, terrifying. I mean, I'm sick and tired of dealing with them, right? Which is just something I don't want to see consistently. And so after speaking with Dean, he told me that I had to work the opposite side of the body, which I personally didn't think was something that was real. I'll be honest with you. I thought, all right, man, like I'll try it. We'll see how it goes. And for context, I was bedridden. I was unable to move. I had quit all sports. I had to work a remote job where I maybe worked 2, 3 hours a day. So my income got cut in more than half. I was stressed more than I could ever believe. And I didn't understand how to fix it. So after dealing with multiple physiotherapists, multiple doctors, this was one of the key things that actually helped me fix this. So when working with Dean, the first thing I did was actually fix my diet, believe it or not, right? I'm not going to tell you to take prednisone or something that's going to fix it. No, fixing the diet was the first thing, right? Reduced inflammation in the body. So this means cutting down on the alcohol. This means not eating fast food. This means not eating heavy carb items as well. It means eating more lean. Once doing that, reducing some weight, of course, made my body feel a lot better. But the biggest difference maker for me was I would always get this insanely sharp pain in my lower back whenever I was ever trying to bend, whenever I was trying to move, anytime I was trying to lift anything, it felt impossible, right? But one of the key things I actually worked on was my upper back. So my traps, area by my scapula, everything there, the trapezius muscles. Once I strengthened those areas, I started to feel a huge difference. So I'd always feel a consistent pain striping down my back or by the tailbone. One of the first things we did was actually working on lateral raises. So again, it might be different for you because each person is different when it comes to this. That's one of the key things Dean and his team does extremely well is they sit down with you, they understand what the difference thing is. We're not going to give you some sheet and say, oh, work with this. We're going to sit down, understand your body, why it's in pain, and how we can fix this. Because the last thing we want to do is keep you around for a long time. We want to give you the tools, make you feel pain free, and help you live your life. So you can come back one day and say, you know what, this was the moment my life changed. This is how it changed. So for me, it was doing lateral raises, it was working through different stretches, exercises, and actually some personal coaching as well. And that's what I did with Dean and his team, which helped me tremendously. So if you implement those few things, that will be extremely handy, which is why I want to offer to you guys a limited call. So what you can do is chat with myself, one of our team members, or Dean himself, actually in this link here, which I'm going to drop in the chat below. And I'll also fire over an email on behalf of Dean to make sure you guys also get a copy of this class as well, to make sure you guys can refer back to this, and also a link where you can speak with the team. What we're going to do is just chat with you for free to understand what's going on with your sciatica. Do you actually need us in the first place? Because if you don't, we'll just send you off with a couple stretches and say, hey, maybe do this. But in the case you do need help, because we do have a 95% success rate, we want to sit with you and work with you and find a solution to solve your back pain and your sciatica for good, because this doesn't have to last forever. Even though I was told it was supposed to last forever, we don't want that to deal with you. We want to find a solution to make sure you become pain-free and get out of this pain and this vicious cycle. No more wondering if you can wake up. No more wondering if you're going to have a random panic or pain attack in the middle of the day. We want you to have your life back because we only have one life. Why not live it to its fullest? So click that link in the chat below. You can go ahead, you'll get redirected to book a call with us. Of course, it's free. We want to chat with you, figure out, and then we can sort of show you what strategies would work best, right? Is it our one-on-one coaching? Is it working with Dean? Is it some exercises that we could show you? We want to find a solution for you. So go ahead, click that link there, and we'll also fire over an email in the next 10 to 15 minutes as well, where you can book it as well and have a chat with us, and we'll find out step by step what we can do to help you guys out. So I hope you guys had a wonderful time today. I know we've been together for about 50 minutes now. So just put in the chat, yes, if that was helpful. Hopefully we got you guys some relief today with your back pain. And hopefully we can speak with you guys soon to figure out more of how we can help you with your sciatica pain and help you live a pain-free life moving forward. And the fun part is that if you do work with us, we can guarantee that we can work with you and make sure we get you pain-free as well, just like we have with over 3,000 plus patients beforehand. Excellent. So Gretchen, we will speak with you soon as well. Robin, you as well. So make sure you guys do click that link. I'm going to post it one more time in the chat there so we can speak with you guys soon. And we will fire off an email as well. All right, everyone. Hope you guys will have a wonderful, wonderful weekend coming up. Hopefully it is pain-free. We will speak with you soon. And yeah, we'll find a solution for real soon. Have a great day.